Hello, everyone, and welcome to another off-script episode of the Late Bloomer Actor. Now, hopefully, for those watching on YouTube, I don't look too tired. I've come off the back of an overtime night shift this morning and was fortunate to be a guest with Type Talent Training here in Adelaide in their industry roundup. And I was the guest there as an actor to speak to the new actors all about acting. So that was another pleasure. I've done that a couple of times with Type Talent here in Adelaide, and I'm very humbled to be a guest and to help out new actors on their journey to wherever it may lead them in the future. What I wanted to talk about today is self-sabotage. It's come straight out about it. Self-sabotage. We all know it. We all do it more than likely. Have you ever found yourself standing in the way of your own success? I certainly have. As actors, we're no strangers to self-doubt and fear. But what happens when these feelings manifest into actions that hinder our progress? Today, I'd like to explore the concept of self-sabotage and how it can impact our careers in acting. Self-sabotage it's like an invisible force working against us, sabotaging our efforts and keeping us from reaching our full potential. It can take many forms, from procrastination, I do that all the time, and self-doubt, I do that all the time, to negative self-talk and a fear of failure. Yes, yes, and yes. And as actors, these tendencies can hold us back in auditions, rehearsals, and even in our personal lives. But fear not, because understanding and overcoming self-sabotage it's within our grasp. I've just done, and the last episode of Late Bloomer Actor was focusing on mindset coaching with Rachel Baker. And the next episode coming up in May goes a bit further, deeper into well-being of actors and mindset training and everything like that. So it's a big topic. It's something that my wife is big on and has been encouraging me to look into it a lot because for everything that we're about to talk about, it certainly has its place. By shedding light on the phenomenon and learning how to navigate around it, we can unlock new levels of success and fulfillment in our acting careers. From a psychological standpoint, self-sabotage often stems from deep-seated fears and insecurities. And we all have them, from your daily jobs, your normal lives, to no matter what you're pursuing, whether that be athletics or acting in our case. We may fear failure or rejection, leading us to sabotage our own efforts because but before we even have a chance to succeed. This fear can be paralyzing and keeping us stuck in our comfort zones and preventing us from taking the risks necessary to grow as actors. And that's the thing, is that you have to take those risks. And sometimes you go, that fear of failure, that fear of rejection, that fear of being told no, or just making a mistake and going backwards can be scary. And think about the last time you hesitated to submit that audition tape or you doubted your ability to nail a scene. I'm certainly speaking from my heart here because these are all examples of self-sabotage in action. We may procrastinate on learning our lines or second guess our creative choices, all because we're afraid of falling short of our own expectations. The effects of self-sabotage can be profound, both personally and professionally. It can lead to missed opportunities, strained relationships, and a diminished sense of self-worth. When we sabotage ourselves, we're not only holding ourselves back, but we're also denying the world the chance to see our true talents shine. And they're there. We know they're there. Now, let me share a personal story that taught me valuable lessons about self-sabotage and how it applies to our acting careers. I've been a bodybuilder since I was still at high school, so I think my first competition was as a scrawny 16-year-old, someone that was very introverted, very shy. So, hey, let's get into bodybuilding and stand up on stage in front of hundreds of people in posing trunks and show the body that I didn't really have. But I know firsthand the importance of discipline and dedication, but all these years, I've competed several times, but despite my best efforts, there were times, especially currently in the last 18 months with my training, that I couldn't resist the temptation to cheat on my diet. Slice of cake here, a bag of chips there, or for me lately it's been chocolate. I don't know whether that's an age thing or just the sweet tooth coming out. But it may have provided temporary satisfaction, but to ultimately set me back in achieving my fitness goals. Now, that's not putting aside the positives of what I've done. I've lost a lot of weight, and people say, oh, mate, you're doing fantastic. But when you know what your goal is and where you wanted to be, you know when you're behind, and you know when you're not pushing through the next level. And I've been in a plateau, so to speak, which is not all because of my cheating. I'm not cheating every day. It's age and learning the body needs to do different things. But it does come down to about pushing through and finding a way. And what's worse is that I would often lie to myself and convincing myself that one cheat meal wouldn't hurt, or that I deserved a break from the strict regime and some chocolate here and chocolate there. And then you get all the little things of, oh, well, bugger it, I've had some chocolate, I've had some chips, I've ruined the day, I might as well just enjoy the rest of the day. And before you know it, you've thrown down an extra 2,500 calories, and you're halfway through a bottle of red wine, or the second bottle, maybe. But deep down, I knew that these actions were sabotaging my progress and undermining all the hard work that I've put in. So over time, I've realized that self-sabotage was the biggest obstacle standing between me and my current fitness goals. So it's not until I confronted this behavior head on and start to hold myself accountable that I'm able to now start to push through those plateaus and make some real progress and see the results that I want. So the first step in overcoming self-sabotage is awareness. We must recognize when we're engaging self-sabotaging behaviors and understanding the underlying motivations behind them. By shining a light on these patterns, we can begin to break free from their grip, so to speak. So now we come back to what I was saying at the start about mindset. So we must shift our mindset from one of fear and self-doubt to one of confidence and empowerment. And so instead of focusing on our shortcomings, we should celebrate our successes and acknowledge the progress we've made, no matter how small. Because every small step is a step forward. But a step backwards, just by the very nature, is a step backwards. But, those steps backwards tend to often be bigger. So 2 steps back, 1 step forward sort of thing. So you do that for a year and all of a sudden you haven't really gone anywhere, or you've gone backwards, heaven forbid. So accountability is key in combating self-sabotage, whether it's seeking support from mentors or joining a mastermind group, or simply confiding a trusted friend or your partner or your wife or your husband or your boyfriend or girlfriend or your dog. Having someone to hold us accountable can help keep us on track and motivated. It's also important to practice self-compassion and forgiveness. We're only human and we're bound to make mistakes along the way. So instead of beating ourselves up over our shortcomings, we should treat ourselves with kindness and understanding, knowing that each setback is an opportunity for growth. So lastly, setting boundaries. It's crucial in protecting ourselves from external influences that may trigger this self-sabotage, whether it's saying no to toxic relationships or creating a distraction-free environment for work, establishing boundaries that can help safeguard our mental and emotional well-being. Nice and heavy there. Put some thought into that one. Today, we've explored the insidious nature of self-sabotage and its impact on our acting careers, or if you're not an actor and you're listening to this, thank you for listening. If you're not an actor, the impact that it has in your life in general, whatever endeavors you're focusing on. From understanding its psychological roots to overcoming it through self-awareness and accountability, which we've talked about, we've learned valuable lessons that can propel us towards our successes. So as we go forth on our acting journeys, I like that, as we go forth on our acting journeys with May the 4th coming up next month for Star Wars. Sorry, I'm going off on a tangent there. Remember to confront your self-sabotage head on and refuse to let it hold us back. And I think what I just said before about looking at the small steps forward, so all those little small steps become one big step quicker than you probably realize. But those steps backwards, they just bam, 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 and they just build on each other. and make it worse and worse and worse. So cultivate this positive mindset, I think. Seek support from others and practice self-compassion. And then you can break free from this self-doubt and move forward. So looking back on my own experiences with self-sabotage, I'm grateful for the lessons they've taught me and the growth they've inspired. So I've by looking at this and acknowledging and addressing these tendencies, I've been able to push through my milestones and back on my journey, hopefully. And that's why I've reached out with this episode, I feel, because I was looking within myself at what I was doing on the bodybuilding side of things, and then going, well, have I been doing it in my acting journey? And not as much as cheating on my diet, but I wanted to talk about that in the acting perspective, because it may be just a little bit here, a little bit there, or whatever. That, especially when it comes to auditions, we all know you get that moment where you're a bit scared about it, and you tend to wait until the last minute to learn your lines, and whether it's successful in the end or not, you don't know whether you have sabotaged your process because of your procrastination on that. And for whatever those reasons are that you're procrastinating or having that self-sabotage happening in the background, we don't know. And that's why you should look at it. So thank you for joining me on this quick journey through the depths of self-sabotage. I encourage you to reflect on your own behaviours and commit to overcoming it in your acting careers and finding a way through it or around it or over it. Together we can sort of embrace our potential and rise above these obstacles that stand in our way, because the obstacles are always going to be there. They're there to test us, I think, and to push us and to grow us. I think that's the biggest thing, because if it was easy, everyone would do it, and then it'd be a pretty boring world, really. I think so. So until next time, keep striving for greatness, guys. And thank you very much for listening in. This has been another off-script episode, something I've just quickly thrown together. I wrote this up on night shift, so I had a bit of chance to put some thought into it, because I wanted to make it, I just wanted to make it something thought-provoking and make us look into ourselves. And if it was something you felt was an issue in your acting career or in anything, that you might find a way to address it and learn from it. So next month, I've got Jason Moore on board. He's a local Adelaide actor and a trained counsellor and mindset coach. And he's got some great things to talk about in this area. He works with actors as well as people from all walks of life. So he's got a great gamut of experience, so to speak. So this will be a sort of a lead into it. But in the meantime, before that episode, if you feel that you need to look it up, I'm sure there's plenty online. And you've also got links from our last episode to get some information there, or to reach out to Rachel as well, who's just started a secondary business, because it's a great love of hers that she's developed through her podcast as well. So certainly look that up. So while I've got you here, guys, we've got Self-Tape May coming up, which is run by Audrey Moore out of Audrey Helps Actors podcast in America. She's been on the show last year. So this is growing and growing every year. I've done it a couple of years in a row now. So where you have to try and do 16 self-tapes for the month of May, that's one every 2 days. So it's simulating what actors in America more are going through every in their acting careers with consistent auditions. So have a look at that. I'll put the links in the show notes for you. I think it's very worthwhile. It's about encouraging to commit, and it's a great tool to overcome all this self-sabotage, because it commits you to doing it and pushing you through those roadblocks, so to speak. So have a look at that. And again, thank you very much for listening on the show. It's been a pleasure, and we will see you on set.